Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Talking Town. It's Sunday, 7:45, and we are live. I'm on time. I just wanted to get that in because I know timekeeping is not a strength of mine. Let's be brutally fair, brutally honest, but I am on time. And tonight's going to present its own unique set of challenges. First and foremost, the back. It's a little bit better, but nowhere near where it needs to be. I can already feel it starting to spasm. Second of all, because my back's been bad, I forgot about my microphone being such a pile of dog do. So what I found is if I stay completely still, the microphone should, he says, be transmissible. Transmissible, is that even a word? I don't know. I'm making them up now. And you should be able to hear me without too many pops and clicks. Because I don't want pops and clicks unless we're going to the osteopath for your back. So it's going to be fun. As I sit in my chair and my back tells me to move, but my microphone tells me not to. Let's see which one wins out. I do apologise now if you're hearing many, if any, pops and clicks. But we are here to discuss the mad, the bad, the sometimes frightening world of Ipswich Town Football Club. It's been a busy week, one of which I've tried to keep up to date, but when you're on morphine and whatnot, the world sort of merges itself into one. And I feel like there's lots to talk about. And I don't know if I know much of any of it, which many of you probably will say is a story that we all know too well anyway. So there we go. We're off to a flying start. It is pre-season. We'll go from there. Lots of you in the chat. I moved to look into the chat and I'm scared about moving. So if I don't come to the chat very often this evening, I do apologise. It isn't because I'm ignoring you. It's because I'm just scared of moving. So the sound quality isn't as picture perfect as we want it. But we are going to improve that. I will get a microphone. It's my next job after this evening. Good evening, Anthony Steele. Good evening, Stephen. Brendan's here. What time does it start? On time, Brendan. On time. Yeah, lots of you. So where do you want to go? You lead the conversation. We've got a few talking points that I've written down hastily in writing that I'm probably... Actually, it's down there. You can't see it. It's down on the floor, and I can't actually get it because that would involve moving the microphone. So I'm flying blind. Max Fax is in the room. Welcome, Max. Welcome in. Don't forget, hit subscribe, hit the like button. It's not always, Bodget and Scarpa here at Talk. Who am I kidding? Of course it is. Anyway, let's go. The Cruncher, Richard Moss.
You're talking out of Kim.
And Scarpa are us, boy.
Is it your internet that's not very good, or is it mine?
I was just waiting. I'm not on. I am not to be moving, not you. It's not me. It's not me. It's you. It can't be me. I paid for super fast broadband.
It's definitely you.
It's not me. I promise you. How are you?
Matt Phillips.
Yeah, but mine's on a proper deal.
Obviously, not 100%. Obviously, 100%. I'll try not to make you laugh tonight if you're in a little bit of pain. You've done your Richard Naylor stretching, I hear.
I've done me Richard Naylor back stretches. Yes, those were the days. He did those before every home game, didn't he?
Yeah, old Bam Bam. What a player.
Love Bam Bam. Do you know, my car once broke down, and he walked past the recovery truck on the way to Lloyd's to get his money out of the bank. Just a little side story for you there. Don't know where it was going. Don't know why I said
Where is Richard Naylor? Does anybody know in the chat where Richard Naylor is?
Is he at Leeds?
He was at Leeds with the youth team. He was at Leeds a while ago, Gov, but that was a while ago. So I don't know where he is now.
Hull City? Like I feel he's somewhere around there, right? Do you not think?
Yeah, probably somewhere up north.
Yeah. So it's been a busy week. It's been a frightening week.
We'll have to do a little delve.
We will. Don't worry. I've dropped the link in case this doesn't quite work out between us, but I do think it's your internet, not mine. Although I hope so, because I do pay like extortionate amounts of money for mine. But talk to me first and foremost.
Whose is it? Everyone in the chat. Is it Gov's internet or is it mine?
Well, they're not going to know, are they? because we're both out of sync here. We wouldn't make it as a duet on Top of the Pops because
I think you're right now. I think you've come back.
I'm singing the harmonies and you're singing the chorus. Talk to me.
Yeah, Phil says it's definitely Govs. There you go in the chat.
Yeah, well, Phil was going to come on, and now Phil's not going to come on because no, I'm not having that. I'm not having
Norman
it.
Greenwood says I keep freezing.
See, 50-50 split already. Look, talk to me, right? You see, Brian Desmond, it's yours, Cruncher. Rich says the Mighty Town. See the people, which is out of sync. See, the people have spoken, Richard. Oh. See what this is? It's yours, Crunch. It's you, mate, not me.
It's just my internet shit and then your mic shit then.
Yeah, so between us, we could probably get half decent podcast out once upon a time. Talking to podcasts, there's a new podcast, 2 new podcasts on the scenes. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to up our game. Not that we weren't upping our game anyway, but official town podcast and Life's a Pitch TV. Which one are you most excited about?
Neither, if I'm honest.
Fucking hell, that went well, didn't it? That was a good segue.
Look, the club one will just be club content that probably we see a lot of that anyway now, Gov. But Town TV will probably be launched off the back of that. Look, Life's a Pitch is good.
It is good.
Butcher, Osman, here, who we shall not speak about, obviously, as well on there.
Not signed up Tractor Boy.
No, he isn't on, which I'm a little bit surprised. But then he's not really tractable now because he's probably about 19.
Fair enough.
And a new radio station as well in Felixstowe launched yesterday. I don't know if you see that, Gov. Suffolk Sounds.
Yep. Rob Dunger, Mark Murphy behind that. Good luck to them.
That's on the airwaves.
So you. All I'm getting is you. But your signal, man. Where are you on the moon? You're broadcasting for. I'm going to have to take you out, Rich. I'm going to have to bring in Phil. Phil, come and save me, mate, because Rich is broadcasting live from the moon, it would seem.
Yeah, he keeps freezing.
Yeah. I'm like, where's he gone? Anyway, which one are you most excited about? Talking Town? No, wait, that's us. Town TV or Life's a Pitch?
Both, but probably more along the lines of Town TV.
Why Town TV? Because Mike D says Town TV be a puff piece, all positive on there.
Because I would say, first of all, I think the first episode has got what? Kieran McKenna, former Town legend Russell Osman, and a couple of players. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to some juicy, meaty conversation behind the scenes, secrets, what's going on, who's going to play at the weekend when it airs on Thursday. That's what I want, and that's what I'm expecting.
Do you think you'll get that?
Not really.
But that's what you want.
Any juicy transfer news would be absolutely awesome before the window closes.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, Phil, any leak hurts us, it harms us, it does nothing but hinder us. So you're not going to get that, are you?
I have to make do with whatever I get.
Well, this is absolutely true. Life's Pitch TV returning as well to YouTube.
Yeah,
actually, I'm more excited about that. I think that's quite a big thing. I think that's going to be really interesting to see how that transitions from.
Can I just say something? Whether or not that he's watching this right now, but it has a lot to do with my former boss, who is a guy called Mark, and he runs his own business, and he's a massive Town fan, and he has a mural to the late Kevin Beattie in his office, and when I was there, I think when I had the interview with him, I think on the basis that I was actually a big Town fan myself, that I actually managed to get the job ahead of about 12 other people. But I mean, it's a, yeah, he, it was down to his kind of, hard work behind the scenes. He wanted it to come back, and he played a big part in its revival.
But you got your friend Mark is a business owner.
Yes, he runs his own business. Fan. He's a massive Town fan. He's been a massive Town fan for practically all his life. Now,
you see, you know him and you know me.
Sort of, yeah.
I'm Talking Town, and we're always looking for new partners. So, Mark, if you are watching, I've got a great platform that reaches many Town fans. So, call me. Cheers, Phil. So I'm pleased you came on now. That's a nice little...
Yeah, it was only because I saw his photo sat alongside Mark Murphy and 2 or 3 other guys in the Evening Star about a week or 2 ago. I actually didn't know that he was actually a big supporter of that particular show. But yeah, as it turns out, that he actually played a big part in its revival, apparently. So I didn't know
Beautiful. Let's see if we can bring Rich back in. Rich, are you there?
Can you see
Have
me?
you? We can see. Well, we could see you all along. It's whether or not we could hear you. Have you touched back down to Earth via Elon Musk
Well,
orbit spacecraft?
I've played with a few buttons, played with a few leads.
Okay.
Your dog wasn't chewing on one of the leads, was it? Was he?
No, just digging stones outside, mate.
It'd be a bloody expensive insurance premium if he was. Is he all right?
Yeah.
Right, Rich. Oh, he's frozen again. Anyway, right. George Hirst. How excited are we about George Hirst being in the building? I feel like I can't be too excited because if I'm excited, I move and then I crack in a bottle.
I thought we were signing James Bond.
James, explain that joke to me. That the morphine might not be following you there.
I messaged Rich on Twitter thinking, is it a big name? And I was just pissing about saying that I was actually watching James Bond at the time, watching an old episode of a Roger Moore classic, and that's why it came about. But I mean, so I'm absolutely over the moon that he signed on a 4-year deal. I thought it was going to be a 3-year deal, but 4-year even better. And I think when you look at our front 4 or 5 players going forward now for this coming season, we have got goals in that front line. I'm telling you, Hirst, Ladapo, Broadhead, Chappers, Burns. If Harness can, follow on from his pre-season form, then expect maybe a few more from him. But absolutely loving the fact that I think we've pretty much filled in that striker conundrum that we've been looking for since the end of last season, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get one more in, maybe a backup or a player maybe just to warm the bench if anyone gets injured. But we've definitely got the ball rolling now, and I want to see 2 or 3 more through the door before the window closes later next month.
Yeah. Does the lack of transfer goals concern you?
Not really.
In regards to Freddie and George? No.
I think between McKenna and Ashton, I think that they are continually working behind the scenes. I think that there are deals that they still want to make. We know that there's a short list of about a dozen players that McKenna wants to bring in, and if we get 2 or 3 more, then I think that would be a good number of us. It'll be interesting to see who goes out the door. I'm somewhat a little bit surprised that Kamara is going out on loan. That's one that I mean, say he's become injury prone, but the quality he possesses in midfield, he's more of an attack minded midfielder, and I guess with the number of midfielders we've got there, I'm saying more with the midfielders now that we've now got. I mean, so we've brought Taylor in, so I think that he's kind of now superseded that.
Very versatile, isn't he?
Yeah, that attack-minded midfield role. So I think Kamara now is service. But I would say I feel disappointed for him because when he came into the club, last summer, I thought that he would once he got over his groin problem, before November, December last year, that he would have then started to get some decent game time. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out for him. But so with the 2 players that we brought in, I mean, say. Wonderful. Let's just keep it going. A couple more players through the door. So I still want to see Raksaki, but I've seen in the media that I think Eze at Palace has now picked up an injury in pre-season. Not sure how bad he looks.
Sure.
But there's a bit of a rumor flying around that Raksaki may be held on to at Palace, so we might have to look elsewhere. But if he does, then I'm sure that McKenna will get 1 or 2 others in.
I guess that depends on the type of deal that Raksaki, if it is Raksaki, is. If it's a loan deal, that'll be towards the end of the window, as more traditional Premier League loans tend to be. Whereas if it's a permanent, you might find that happens a little bit more quicker because you're giving Palace that money that they can then go and. And I'm not saying Palace are short of you, Bob. Of course I'm not. But they're very much different types in the sense of how urgent Palace can then look to bring somebody in against to holding off and seeing if they want to keep a hold of the player. I'm still squatting up on my FFP knowledge. I'm still reading the multi-page manual. But a 4-year deal like George Hirst, UEFA are closing that loophole, but that allows us to spread the transfer fee over the life of that 4-year deal, which of course means effectively, you're looking at George Hirst costing £300,000 a year, which is a snip, isn't it? Really?
Absolutely. I mean, say $1.5 million that we've paid for now. It's great to see that we are able to spread the cost over the next 3 or 4 seasons. And 300,000 for a player like that, he's going to get goals at championship level, and he's going to, increase his value no end. I wonder if there's a sell-on clause that we've agreed with Leicester, but if we do sell him on, if we do get to the Premier League within the next 2 or 3 seasons, then I would thought that maybe we'd hold on to him. But if he bangs the goals in the next term, who knows?
All right, before we try and bring Cruncher back in, Phil, give me your one more thing.
My one more thing is that I'm working out in my mind whether or not I should try and get a ticket for the Sunderland game, and I've just about decided yesterday over this weekend that I will try and get a ticket for Sunderland. This is my one more thing, because looking at how the priority point scheme is going to work for away tickets priority scheme this season, I think it's important that I do get to a few away games. I didn't get to any away games last season, and I'm kind of sort of kicking myself a little bit over it. But certainly there are grounds. I have mentioned this before that I want to get to. Sunderland, Middlesbrough, Cardiff, West Brom, Swansea, maybe Queen's Park Rangers. I'm looking forward to that, but we'll see how we get on.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you know, Phil, I'm a die-hard home and away fan. Have been since the back end of the season. I fully expect to see you on away days. Nice work. Good work, Phil. I'll speak to you soon.
Take care. Hope you're back improved soon.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thanks ever so much. Rich, I saw you on the terraces home and away towards the end of the season. Us, me and you doing the hard yards.
Oh, I loved it, didn't we, at Barnsley? Hugging each other. Can you hear me now? Is it better now? I've turned off the computer.
Hopefully so.
So what do you think? What do you think to the new membership scheme then, Gov?
Yeah, great question. I was exactly put that to you, because obviously Phil's just mentioned the Sunderland tickets there, $39.99. But what does that actually get you? I've paid for it already because I was on morphine.
I'm still trying to really work out what it does get you, because I think, look, obviously if you haven't got a season ticket for the home games, you're going to need a membership. They've scrapped literally everything's gone, I think, isn't it, Martin? Silver membership,
Gold, silver, platinum,
gold's gone, ultimate's gone. So if you haven't got a season ticket at home, you're going to need one of these memberships. So for away tickets, look, I think it's a little bit expensive for a season ticket holder, Martin, if I'm honest, because we're paying already, right? We paid for that season ticket. So I think if it was 20 quid, or even if it was 40 quid and they chuck in Town TV or something like that, maybe, because they had to do something after what happened last year. I think it was the Cambridge tickets when they went on sale, and people had just bought gold cards just to get tickets for that game. That was in February? Now, I don't know if they're going to have like a cut-off where you can buy the membership too, or I suppose it doesn't really matter now because you're only getting them 1 point for every away game you're doing. You're going to get, do you see the point of the 5 points you get when you buy it? Because everybody gets 5 points. So,
well, no, this is it. And let's be honest. Let's break it down, right? Let's be real. Let's be truthfully, brutally honest as we are on this platform. Everyone and their family members are worried about one game and one game only. This is all that it's gearing up to be. Everybody wants to be at Carrow Road watching us knock 3 goals past the Canary.
You think that's in April? So it's given people that time. Whereas if it had been early, like September, like people like yourself, Gov, you probably would struggle for a ticket because not having them points. Another thing that I don't agree with what they've done is if you didn't have a membership last season and you'd been to, say, 10 away games, you're getting no points, which I think is a little bit naughty because they haven't said anything like you didn't know what was going to happen. I think they've obviously they can look online, they can look at your history, how many away games you've been to. Look, you're never going to satisfy every person because there's always going to be somebody. It's obviously what suits the individual, isn't it? Really, it's always going to be someone's going to be upset that this doesn't sort of work with me. Whereas me, look, I think I've nearly got 30 points. I'll probably be. I don't know what it'll be for Norwich, but I'll probably be all right for a Norwich ticket. I'll do.
Yeah, you're anyway.
A lot of away games anyway, but they had to do something that was fair for everybody, and I suppose I suppose it is fair. I just don't agree that if you didn't have a membership last year and you've done X amount of away games, that you don't get them points, because I think you should. If I'm honest, I think you should, because I think that's fair.
Well, you either, a little bit, a part of me makes me want to say you either all start with 0 or you all start with your respective history, because.
But then people could say that, hang on, I've been following Town for
there's a new era, mate. Game
years. I've been
changer.
a regular away fan. I was there when we were struggling. You know, I used to go to the game. People could say,
mate, I was there at Watford when Luke Hine was smashing the crossbar, and I thought I was going to Wembley.
Yeah.
Like, we can all bring up the stories. Like, we can all say,
yeah,
I was
but
there.
It is how far they go back, and they're only going to go to last season, and then obviously that gets wiped off, and then it's this season's points, and then so on and so on. So, you know,
I think Wordsmith scored that day. You know, Wordsworth scored that day.
Anthony Wordsworth.
Yeah, I think he did. You know,
I think he scored in the league. I think you're on the one. You're on the FA Cup one when we hit the crossbar.
No, I'm at the end towards the end of this. No, we lost
3-1.
Yeah, we lost 3-1.
We were sort of
set piece goals, very un-Mick like.
They were sort of teasing us with like hopes of the playoffs, weren't we? And then I think we got back to 1-1. Wordsworth scored, and then they won 3-1. The best one was the cup game, wasn't it? Is it Dan Harding? It's the crossbar.
Yep, we love smashing
score.
The
Jamie Peters, Danny Haynes, giving it this, didn't they?
They were giving
They're off down the other end on a counter attack. No, we hadn't scored. It's offside.
Yeah, the two things I've got wrong with it is, that they didn't partner with Crunchy Master PLC, because I'm snookered, because I'd have had a load of points within the season not added on. It's not, I can't really put a phone call into the subsidiary, and I just don't see what $39.99 gets you, and I'm surprised they did away with this. There was a scheme, right? And I've not dreamt this in some type of, pain in haze moment where you paid a membership and you had a ticket guaranteed. It bought the ticket for you at every away game. That was platinum, wasn't it?
But ultimate, I think that was the ultimate thing where you didn't even have to worry. I think you
had it anyway.
I think it was about £80 you'd pay at the start of the season, and they send you every single ticket. So
I'm surprised they've stopped doing that, because that's almost
because I don't see how I don't know how many they had. I wouldn't know how many ultimates they had. But it would have been more this year, because I know certain people would have bought an ultimate, and it guarantees you a seat. So I agree with you. I don't really see why they've stopped that.
That surprised me.
Look, bigger stadiums will get bigger allocations. If you want to go to an away game, look, there'll be plenty of tickets to go around at most games. I would have thought. Sunderland first game, I think 2,500. That's Sunday evening, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, isn't it? Kickoff. That won't sort of work with everybody, because if they've got to go to work on the Monday. But there's not going to be many grounds like when you go like to Fleetwood and like Forest Green. These stadiums when you're getting about 900 tickets. So if you want to go to an away game, I think you'll be all right. It's just I do agree with you. It's probably tailored for Norwich, isn't it? This is where you're going to need your points, X amount of points to start. But we'll just have to see how it goes. And it'll be interesting at the minute. Obviously, look, we're doing well, so people want to go and watch the team. What happens if we have a bad spell? We know football fans are fickle, mine. They
are. And then, of course, you've got the other side of the coin when you've got a club's pricing fans out of the game.
Well, I see, obviously Sheffield Wednesday. Look, I listened to James and the podcast, and Chanziri, their owner, is just like, he's a loon. Like their ticket prices are just season ticket prices. They're all different categories. But they're having like A to bloody G, and it's just literally going to depend on how well they're doing, sort of a match day price. He actually their owner wanted to get rid of season tickets. He doesn't understand English football. He just wanted basically you just pay on the day. Well, that's never going to happen, because that isn't what happens in this country. Then you fast forward to, I think it was Friday when it was Leeds put their prices out, and what was it, £47 grade A game, and then
47.
Yeah. But then I've seen now they're going to think. I think they're playing Cardiff early, and it's going to be £24 at Cardiff, and they will actually match up. So it'd be interesting.
I was going to say this, yeah.
It's interesting because we play them pretty early, don't we? I think end of August at Town. What do we normally charge an away fan, Gov? Is it about £31?
Not being an away fan, I wouldn't like to say
It's about
categorically.
31. But they are sitting in the best stadium in English football.
They certainly are. They certainly are. While it still stands. And as somebody asked in the chat, when are they knocking it down? This thing annoys me. We've got some people waiting. We'll bring them in very shortly, and they have their say on their platform. But just this thing where clubs are starting to sort of say, "We'll give you your fans this price if you give our fans this price." Why don't they just all get together, like they do many times a year anyway?
Yeah,
just set a blanket.
It used to be they used to what did they bring in? 20 is plenty. They bought that in. I think Premier League are capped at 30 quid for an away fan.
But like this will match what you. That's why it's nonsense. Just all get together, put your fans at the heart of the matter, and say, no away fan in the Championship or any league or whatever league it is you're talking about will pay more than X.
Yeah, I agree, because you've not got to say 47 quid for Leeds, for example. I see Amy saying she'd pay that, but then Amy, like, you've got to look at Amy where she lives. She lives really local, so 47 quid for her is still a lot of money, but not going to have to worry about the travelling. Whereas somebody else, if they had to pay 47 quid, yeah, or if you go from town on the coach, then you're looking at about 30 quid for that. By the time you had your programme, your food. Look, no one forces anybody to go away. We know that. But a lot of people want to do it. They
want to go to Carrow Road next year, you are going away whether you like it or not.
Well, there you go. You might not want to pay 47 quid, but you're thinking, oh, yeah, I probably need them points, later on in the season. So I'm going to have to pay it. But, yeah, I totally agree with you. You'll get your heads together, get round the table and thrash something out and say, this is what you're going to have to pay at every single ground.
It is.
Because it's the same product you're watching. We're all playing in the same league. We're not seeing Messi playing and someone else isn't. We're all playing the same level here, so it really should be across the board. But then I don't think Town have they announced their match day prizes yet. I don't think they have. So
Town have announced their own TV station yet, Rich. I mean,
is they got the studio? So what they're waiting? Someone's down there with a nail gun whacking it up as we speak.
Turn it on. Yeah, look, literally, when you see me on the terraces at Blackburn and Preston this year, not next week, by the way, I might just start wearing a T-shirt just here for the Norwich. Because it's
Blackburn away used to be the new MK, apparently, because you get 7,500 at Blackburn. So if you're keen on getting them points, I think we're in. I think it's into March when we play there.
There you go. You see.
Easter Friday, day after I get back from the holiday. I can't wait to get to up north.
Well, you pick that dog up and give it some love, and give our audio listeners a little bit of respite. Norman says, did you listen to the second tier podcast this morning? They rated all the Championship managers. McKenna came top, Wagner came bottom 5. I didn't, but I'm going to take umbrage with this, Rich, because as much as I love Kieran McKenna, and if I was to have a third child, I would call him Kieran. What has he got to be top of that list, having not managed the Championship?
I do think one of the contributors, is a Town fan, so it might be a little bit biased. But look, Kieran's highly rated, Martin, but I don't think there's any way you can put him as your top manager in the Championship when he's not even managed the game in the division.
No.
Look, he's getting a big rap. He's done really well. But there's going to be stages at this season that he's going to be tested. He's going to be tested, Gov, and it won't be all like 4-0 Forest Green, 4-0 Accrington Stanley, and we're sitting there with the cigars on. We can make a raft of substitutes about 70 minutes. It'll very rarely this season that will happen. So, and there will be sticky patches in this season, and that's how we'll see what Kieran's made of then, Gov, because it's all about team progression, but also as your manager, because he's still learning. He's not managed in this division yet. So to put him at number 1, Daniel Farker, 5th bottom, did they say?
Wagner.
Oh, Wagner. Yeah.
You're getting your Norwich managers mixed up, mate.
Wagner's got a promotion to the Premier League from this league.
Yes.
Kieran McKenna hasn't. Yeah, Kieran McKenna hasn't. Kieran McKenna got us out of League One, and we didn't even win the league with the biggest budget.
But it is funny you mentioned Farker, because obviously we're not talking up that lot up the road, but you would have thought Farker and Wagner would have been inside your top 4 or 5 Championship managers.
Says Farker was 5th. How many promotions has he got?
Well,
out of this-
exactly, and he's not done. You know, I mean, let's face it. He's taken a really small football club that's got no history.
I've
and
not
he
listened to it. I'll have to
grew
listen
into
to it
something.
to see who else is in there. You know, who's in the top 5 other than Kieran. You know,
All right, we'll have to find out. We'll have to find out. Right. I'd say somebody who will probably know because he is correspondent on fishing, weather, sport,
climate change.
anything,
Very
anything
big
and
on
everything.
Very
If
big on climate
you-
change. I want to talk to Mike about these heat wave all over Europe. Mike will know what is going on, mine.
You literally do not have to Google anymore, ladies and gentlemen. You just go and fish a minute.
Cricket as well.
Here
He's
he
a
is.
cricket connoisseur.
He is. He
Man
is.
knows all about cricket as well.
It's nothing he doesn't know.
No, it's opinions, lads. Opinions. What are you on about?
No, Mike. You speak as if you know
the
facts.
chest, mate, about what I like and what I don't like.
What
No,
are you here
I
to
used to.
impart this evening?
I watch the Ashes. I do watch the Ashes. Just don't. I'm not.
Keep your powder
I'm not
dry.
there all the time.
Keep your powder dry. We've got a cricket show at 9.
Sorry.
Keep your powder dry on the cricket. Don't spoil it for
Powder.
everybody. They have to tune in.
I'll
They have
come,
to tune in.
as I got night off. I'll come and powder myself on the cricket area.
There you go.
No, yeah, but lads, what a great close season we've had. I'm really I'm a bit jury out regarding Taylor. I'm still a bit worried.
Fisherpedia. Apparently, Mike says it's been renamed. Fisherpedia.
Fisherpedia. You know, absolutely.
You know. Don't make me move.
But yeah, so
Can we talk about this new formation we're playing? Because I know Mike is massive on his formation. So in pre-season, Leif Davis has been dropping into midfield, Mike, and Taylor's been dropping sort of into the back 3. Evans has been in there. Dominic Ball. This is all from John Stones, Mike, for Man City. You know, now he's a midfielder, isn't he? He drops in to midfield. I know you probably. I know you're a 4-4-2 man, aren't you? Really?
No, he's a 3-5-2 man.
Oh, 3-5-2. Yeah, 3-5-2. Sorry, Mike.
No, well, look, I'm a 3-4-3, 3-5-2. I like them formations, but
Christmas tree.
Yeah, Christmas tree, if you want to call it that. I tell you, look, I think the only thing I can think of Kieran McKenna, the reason why he's doing that is to try and give these lads some perspective. I used to do it with youth football. When we were doing training, I used to deliberately put the strikers in defence and the defenders. Yeah, define. You know, put your strikers in defence, play them as a defensive role, just to give them a different perspective of the game. Do you know what I mean? On how they can see the game. Even during friendlies, I would drop players. I'd put strikers. You know, I'd mess around with the team and just give them a little bit of perspective of what it's like to play other people's roles, so that they can maybe improve their own game. And
this isn't Mike. This isn't new. The Dutch done this, didn't they? When Johan Cruyff was playing total football. It's not new.
That's exactly. I mean, total football is exactly what you want from your players. You want every player to be able to not play every position, but to be able to at least try and understand every position, because it's important for young kids to learn. You know what it's like to be a centre back, even as far as I know goalie is very specific, but I'll either sort of sometimes I'll even play goalies out on pitch so they get used to controlling the ball.
And Christian Walton, is he going to be playing number 10 at Preston on Wednesday night, Gov?
I'm just letting Mike go. I'm learning. I'm under the Mike Brown knowledge tree, and I'm just letting it fall.
What do you think, Mike? What do you think, Mike and mine? I think, right, he's obviously trying Davis in this different position. Leif Davis is our best player, right? And I think, I don't know if you'll agree, Mike. I think we should enjoy him while we've got him, because if he has a really, really good season, I could see him being sold on.
Nah.
Look. We got to be careful. Look, I don't like hyping players up too much. I like the fact that what I like about this close season is that there's been a lot of talk about we need 5 or 6 new players. But speaking to a few town fans where I work and stuff, and family as well, all kind of saying the same thing. We just need little tweaks here and there. For me, I think we need another decent centre back. I think I'm a little bit jury out with Jack Taylor. Hirst, brilliant signing. He's exactly the type of forward that suits our style of play. And
Jack Taylor will be a massive asset, Mike. Trust me.
I've had some reports that he hasn't been playing well, though. That's my only concern. And like I said, for me, it's a little bit jury out.
Reports from who and in what game?
Need a market when we play Maiden then.
It's pre-season.
Like
it's pre-season. We're getting minutes
no,
into league.
No, what I'm saying is I'm just getting reports back to say that it's not been overwhelmed. At the end of the day is a few fans, even a few guys I speak to, have said they weren't that impressed with him at Peterborough, but he's here and he's under McKenna.
What were his stats last year, Gov? Jack Taylor for Peterborough.
Well, they were better than any of the midfielders we have currently had at the football club. So you've improved upon your two already just by signing Jack Taylor.
But but let's look at players that we have signed based on their stats before. Joe Pigott for one.
20-goal season striker.
5.
Yeah. Didn't work out, did it? Sometimes these things don't work out. Now, I'm not saying that's not going to be the case with Jack Taylor. He's a young lad. He's come in. I just don't want to mess around with the team too much because I think this team is very, very much capable of competing in this league without overstretching themselves. I think there is obviously gaps in there, like your central defence. I think we could do with another central defender.
I think that's the next signing, Mike. I think
it has to be really, yeah.
Especially when you look at the comment in there, as obviously Fridge has gone back to. He's been in London. He went back from Austria. That ankle's still troubling him, Mike. Which he's had that ankle for what, Gov? 2 seasons now.
2 seasons. I was actually laughing at
I know Kieran was playing it down. Yeah, he's just gone to come and look at it. But to me, that don't sound great when you've had it the season before last. Then you've had it last season, and it's still hanging around now, Mike.
It's the ankle. My boy Jake suffered with that Achilles problem for 2 years, and it really hindered his football. And he's now getting back into it. And I know that obviously professionals have a lot more treatment available, but I can tell you now, it can look. There's a chance he could never recover from it if it's not done and sorted properly, and he may not, play for us again. You never know that. But I hope he does. But I also think that, like I said, a centre back or two possibly would be a bit of an asset because at the moment we've got, like I said, we've got Walton, we've got Burgess, and we've got Wolfie at the back. Denassi that can play in the right of a 3 if we want, but who else have we got to come in? If Fridge is out for say another 6 to 8 months because of this ankle injury or this operation or whatever he needs doing, we're going to need a bit of strength and depth in that department. I think personally, we're sorted up front. I think up front, midfield, I think we're sorted. Out on the wings, I think we're sorted. Look, Jackson's not going anywhere. Would I keep him? No, but I think Kieran McKenna wants him. I think he's playing in this new role.
Let's talk about Caden Jackson and that finish in training, Mike, that we see when he put in top bins. And then I see you on the socials saying that you used to do that.
Oh, mate, I used to be able to hit a ball in top corners. It's an everyday thing, mate.
It was a little bit slow motion, wasn't it? Great finish by Caden, but it was like walking pace.
Oh, yeah, it was walking football, wasn't it? I mean, honestly, I swear to God, we used to just play out with your mates. We used to top bin them all the time. You always to try and do top bins. You know what I mean? It used to be the forte of your footballing ability. If you hit the top bins, you were the man. But look, Caden Jackson, I think he'll play this season. I think he'll play, maybe sort of come on for Burns and stuff. So look, I think I think the rest of the team is pretty much sorted. I just think that maybe 1 or 2 centre back central people could come in, and that'll make a massive change. I'm really looking forward to the start of the season. I I am buzzing. I want to get hold of the away shirt, so I might order that. Actually, I might order the away shirt. I'm not getting the home shirt. I'm still not overly keen on that.
So he's available in 4XL.
The 4XL, I need
Easy,
five.
easy,
I need
easy,
five
easy
these
now,
days,
easy now.
mate.
All right, Mike.
I
We
mean,
appreciate.
hey. Anyway, mine will go over my head. Yours won't, Mister.
I love you, Mike. Look after yourself. All right.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, have you got more knowledge to impart with us? Have you got more knowledge to give us?
Well, I'm going on the cricket show later.
All right, mate. You do
In a bit,
that.
Mike.
You do that. 6.
Don't put his
Mike
comments
Lasso
up,
says,
Don't put his comments up
"Why?
on the
Oh,
cricket
for
show.
Mike's. I mean Mike's.
Sorry.
So I didn't mean
Come on.
Harps. I was like, what's Harps has done wrong?
No, I'm joking.
Where's Burns? 17 minutes limping off yet. Well, I think he limped off. I wasn't actually there. Obviously, I don't know if he did. But 17 minutes taken off. Any concern there? Because Mike says he's happy with the forward areas. I disagree somewhat, unsurprisingly, with Mike. That I'd like another winger and I'd like another striker. How you convince a striker now to come in with Hirst arriving, I don't know.
I see a lot of chat I see a lot of comments in the chat there, Gov, about Morgan Whittaker. Good player. Not coming to town. He's not going to come to town to sit on the bench and play second fiddle.
No.
Not going to happen. Good player, mind you. But that is the problem now. If you want that other striker, it's convincing them. Would it probably be a Prem loan a bit later on in the window, I would have thought now, if you're going to get that striker? I would have thought it might go down that route.
I just don't feel Town. I just feel like Town have got one or two blockbuster signings in them. I just feel it. I feel that sort of groundswell where I feel Ashton's got a je ne sais quoi transfer where no one really sees coming. And it's wow. They've signed him. Oh, nice.
Well,
Really
I'm quite happy with the squad. Is this a squad that can push for the top 6 at the minute? I think we're a couple short, if I'm honest. I think we're all right when we got that first 11. It's still that squad depth that I sort of, like you say, Wes Burns out for any length of time. Do you really want Caden Jackson? Fair enough. We've spoke about him a lot on there. From what he's done, he was out the door, got his head down and worked hard, Gov. But do you want to see Caden Jackson playing a lot of games this season? No, I don't. It's just my personal opinion. You need to upgrade. And this is where a lot of fans think, yeah, we'll be all right with the squad we've got. If you want to push on, Lewis said it a while back, there'll be hard decisions to make. And there's players here that you probably loved them last season and will always appreciate what they've done. But if you want to push on to that next level, you have to be really ruthless in football. And at the minute, it's like, I said about Leif Davis. Leif Davis gets an injury. Greg Lee, in the Championship, not good enough, Martin. Not good enough to play any length of games. If you get serious, look, he could come in and play the odd game here and there. I get that. But Donatian as well.
Different players, aren't they?
Didn't cut it last season when we...
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to play this certain style, when players go out the team, surely you want someone to come in like for like. So you continue how you play. Greg Lee, I see Greg Lee play away at Derby last season when I think Leaf was ill. He had a really good game that day, Greg Lee, but he hardly got over the halfway line, whereas Davis is up and down that line. So this is where I think that you still need to upgrade in certain positions, and if we have to spend a little bit of money, so be it.
They're certainly moving cash about, Rich, aren't they? They're certainly moving. They're freeing assets up. It would look like.
Yeah, but and it's interesting. But like I said, when we done the show on, I think it was on Tuesday or Monday when George Hirst signed, and I spoke to Rich, and that's 5 signings now that we've made over, I think, about $1.5 million, and they're all at that good age, Gov, about 24, 25. To progress, and if they do get sold on, fair enough. But I still think we need a couple more signings to make that difference, because at the minute I still say between 12th and probably about 8th this team, and that'd be a decent season. Don't get me wrong, but I think Ashton and them have got bigger sort of ambitions than that, if I'm honest.
I mean, they almost certainly, unless we progress at a rapid rate, will be sold on. When Mark Ashton was on the Price of Football podcast, he actually said, if you look at our squad evaluation that we run internally all the time, our players were worth X when they joined the club. They're worth Y now, and that's why we've recruited young, hungry talent, Clark, Davis, Broadhead, all in that early 20s bracket, who will grow with us on the pitch, will bring financial value if and when we want to trade them. That all comes into the overall discussion with the owners who will stand behind us. That's the model. You know, they're here today. We develop them, and unless the football club's going in the same direction at the same time they are, they will be moved on. That's the player trading model that Mark Ashton has spoken so in length about. And I told you, next Aaron Cresswell, and I probably did him a disservice when I said Aaron Cresswell. I think he'd be better than Aaron Cresswell, and Aaron Cresswell was a great left back.
Yeah, when you look, that is a massive shout, because you look at Cresswell. I think he's played like nearly 400 Premier League games. But Leif Davis, look, of course we want him to come on the journey with us, Gov, and be here for the next 4 or 5 years, up and down that left-hand side. Of course, look, we want that. But like I say, if he progresses more than the team does, and we hope they both progress, right? But if he's going this way, he's going to have admirers. You know, they're not stupid. You know, there'll be scouts out there looking at him already. What do you have last season? Was it 12, 13 assists?
Mm-hmm.
Playing left back.
Most
You were the one who said
dangerous
you actually did say Leif Davis should be taking corners. So I think you need to take a lot of credit for that. But
clearly we're listening.
But he's obviously come from the Premier League. He was at Leeds, so I think it won't be long before he's playing at that level again, because I think he's a really good player, and I'm not trying to get him out the door because I want to watch him as long as I can. But like you say, we know the model, we know what we are now, and if it means selling someone on for a big fee, so be it, you know. But that money will get invested back into the club. When you look like Tyrone Mings played in the same position, you know,
that's the difference.
And we signed him for what, 10 grand, sold him for like 8, and what did we get? Where did that money get put back into the team? It didn't, did it?
No, and that is the difference, you know. And this probably is the last window, really, where you're going to say we all know the model, but not emotionally feel it. I think next summer, if things continue to go the way they are, you'll really feel it. Because one or two, if they have the seasons they should do at this level, could be the first in that player trading model to be moving out. And I'll feel it. Like, I love Leif Davis. I love Nathan Broadhead. You know, particularly Leif Davis. When those times come, they're hopefully signs of good times for the football club, because you've done well, because they've done well. But it's still not going to be any softer of a blow, just because we've all been told about the player trading model. But will be reinvested.
At least we know where we're going. Like I say, and that money, if that time comes, it will be put back into the football club. You know, and that's what we want. You know, to progress on. Sometimes a player like under George Burley when he sold Kieran Dyer, you know, 6 million, bought about 3 players in it. John McGreal, Jermaine Wright, I think. Obviously, Rooster was in, Marcus Stewart coming that season, and that helped the team progress on to get where we wanted to go. So, look, this is football, Martin. You know, don't get too attached to players, because players don't stay at football clubs now for 8 to 10 years. It just doesn't happen. You know, it's very, very rare to see anybody spend that sort of length of time in one place. But you did say as well, don't fall in love with a lone player. And there is George Hirst, so we can love him as our own now.
We certainly can. And looking forward to seeing what he can do. Dominic Dean says, can I come on here sometime, Gov? Dominic, you are always welcome. Everyone is always welcome to come on the platform whenever they want. Gavin's asked the second question in a row of when's Cobblestone being knocked down. Don't know, Gavin. Probably soon, but thank you for the £2 super chat earlier in the show. Appreciate that. Bring in Mr. Parry, who surely is off to Preston on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Wednesday. I am, yeah. I am. I've got my ticket ready. I'll be there. They probably won't expect me. I am looking forward to it. I'm interested to see it. I've been hearing a lot about the way the team's been set up slightly different. I'll be interested to see how they're playing it this year. I think they're trying to get
just a quick one there, and you as well, Steve. Dominic says, would you sell Freddie if Derby came asking?
I don't think I would. I think he suits us.
See, I would. I would. If Derby come knocking and we could get a better replacement for Freddie the Daft.
That's the whole point. If we could get a better, and it goes back to the point, when we get a better one to sit on the bench. Yeah. Do you think? You know, what was it? We went for Surridge and he's gone to America because they're offering him more cash. You know, I don't know whether we can. It's a tough. I tell you what, it's part of football that I don't really know a lot about. Yeah, as a fan, because I don't deal with negotiations. But it, once you, unless we're bringing in players to replace the starters we've got, and then them starters become backups, it must be really hard to bring in players and convince them that they're not going to start, especially if they've already got, like it was mentioned, Josh Key the other day. He's got a starting spot at Swansea. He was never going to come to us and be offered a bench spot if he had a starting spot at Swansea. As a player, I just couldn't see any player saying, I'd rather go there and sit on the bench. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I don't disagree there, Mike, with Stephen Martin, with Mike D's comment about he's unsure about Hirst, because you've only got to look at his championship record, Gov. 40 appearances, no goals. So he's got it to prove. He has. He's got it all to prove. I know he scored 7 goals last year. This is a step up. Can
I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
You saw some in goals, Barnsley, Bolton, Derby. If them shots were taken against championship goalkeepers, they still go in. It's not a matter of he's clinical enough. He can finish. Will he get the chances like he did do last season? Because those shots will beat any championship goalkeeper.
Yeah, if you create the chances,
that's the key.
Just a question for you, Gov. Is he going to bully championship defenders like he did Mads Anderson? He's gone to the Premier League.
He's a Premier League defender. So if you could bully him and they think he's a Premier League defender, which, if based off that, he's not, he's quite capable of bullying championship defenders. I've seen some championship defenders weaker than Anderson.
I think what is unique about this situation, obviously he's been here on loan already, so he knows the area, he knows where to live, he knows the best restaurant, he knows who does him the best tacos if he likes tacos. If he wants to take his other half out for the evening, he knows where to go. It's not a strange environment to George Hirst. It's home. It's somewhere he's been for a long period of time, and there's no getting to know the best way to Playford Road, the best way to Portman Road, the best way to here, the best way to there. And players are all about creature comforts. They're all about being comfortable and happy in their environment. And we saw it in George. We saw him being comfortable and happy in the environment. And the more he was, the more he understood the McKenna system, the better he became. And had he signed in the summer on loan, I don't think 1.5 million would have got you his right foot, let alone the player. Because he was just progressive.
They wanted 5 million, didn't they, Steve?
5 million for Blackburn. That was the fee inserted in the buyout clause,
and they would have got it.
That's why Blackburn had to go to Leicester and say we're not paying it, take him back, and Leicester had to agree to it, or he wasn't going back. But the point is, I do agree with that, and I do agree he's got a lot to prove. Yeah, but I also think that him being a full-time player and settled, and he knows he's somewhere for 4 years. He's not, because as a loan player, you don't know what system you're going to play.
He said that himself, though, Steve, didn't he? I think we've said that on here before. The age that he's at, he needs to nail down a club and roots, and
I think
he'll only improve under Kieran, like they all have.
I think it's helped Walton becoming a settled first team player and settled knowing he's at a certain club in front 100%. Of a certain defence. And I think it's helping a lot of players when they go and get a settled club, And yeah, he's got things to prove, but I think he's more than capable. If he's anything like his dad, he'll be on fire. I know he's not the same sort of player as his dad, yeah, but he's learning from one of the best. He grew up learning from one of the best in Championship football. So that for me is good enough. I'm happy to see him give it a go anyway. And it's if you think about it, 1.5 million, it's a low ball risk. Even if he doesn't work, we'll at least get half of that back. So it's a low ball risk.
I think what it does is it just also provides Ashton a bit more manoeuvrability in the transfer market now with agents and football clubs. You've signed a striker who was doing all these wonderful things under a manager he's playing for again. If people are quoting silly money because they feel like they've got you over the barrel, you kind of don't have us now. You've got this striker in. We trust him. We love him. We know what he can do. We know he can develop. It just opens it up that in the market for Ashton to now be a little bit more.
Since the other clubs were not going to be held to ransom.
Absolutely.
If you want to take us for mugs, like I'm not being honest, he might be worth it, but I think everybody, I think Everton knew Coventry were about to get a few quid, and I think they paid over the odds for Ellis Sims, if you want my opinion, But he may be worth it, but he may be not. But it may come to the end.
I took both, to be honest.
I'd have took both.
They're not paying 8 million up front anyway. It's
I agree. They're not paying that up front, but they paid, was it 3.5 up front?
Yeah.
You know, if it turns out that, you know, at the end of the season, you know, Hirst has more goals than Ellis Sims, then they look a bit of a chump. You know, we won't know that till the end of the season, but they're taking a bigger gamble than we are.
Absolutely. That's
all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
When you're paying 3.5 million, he's got no choice but to perform. You know, 1.5 million, you know.
But they've just sold a striker for 20 million. So
yeah, but a transfer fee can wear heavy, can't it? That the players do say that, you know, they do feel.
That's where Coventry have done well there when they signed Guy Koreshkov for 1 million, and their fans were saying, "Oh, this guy did do a lot at Swansea. He's come in a couple of seasons, sold him for 20 million." And this is where we can work this way as well, Steve, with these players that we bring in and they progress. Then we sell them on for big money.
It's quite simple. If at the end of the day, if for the likes of Davis or Bradford, if they have a good season this season, they could be an 8-figure player easy. I'm not saying 20 million, but they could easily be 10. Definitely. You know, you look at Alex Scott now at Bristol. What, Wolves has just bid 20 million for it. You know, and then the slagging Mark Ashton, but he was the one who brought this policy to Bristol. Buy them young, develop them, and sell them at extortionate prices, and they're still slagging him off. You know, I'm thinking like that's what he's bringing here.
Well, look at Adam Webster. Look at Adam Webster, Steve. What he done? 3 million we sold him for. Went to Bristol. Sold him on for what? 25 was it, Goff?
It was ridiculous.
It's who you get with that money. Now, I don't have any problem with like Mike said. I've not really got a problem right now with the squad. I think we're following a plan, and it's a plan that's been going for a long time, probably going back 18 months. You know, and we're following the plan, and all the players were on that plan right from there off. You know, the likes of Taylor, we've been chasing him for 18 months. Hirst, we've been chasing him for 12 months, probably longer. You know, they're all there, and they're coming in. Who else is on it? I don't know. I do think a left-sided centre-back's probably the next priority, and that's probably going to start taking shape soon. You know, the trusty lad's off to America, so if it's him, that's going to be like Davis. He'll come in last week of July. Yeah. You know, which is possible, but if they think it's unlikely, they'll move for somebody else. And there's plenty of left-sided centre-backs we can go for. You know, it's not as if, you know, if you're prepared to pay, it's not as if, you know, they're an impossible signing. There's plenty about, some sat on people's benches doing nothing, especially in the Premier League, who you can buy. You know, so they're not mythical players. They're just hard players to get hold of, especially if you're not paying. If you're paying, they're a bit easier to get hold of. So I don't worry about not getting one. But I do think if they have to, they'll hang on to last week of July and get that trusted.
Perfect. Steve, I've got to move you on, I'm afraid, my man. Look after yourself, though. So I want to finish with Colin, and I know we've got the cricket show bearing down like Harry Brooks did on the Australians.
Stay in the chat, everybody. Don't disappear. 9 o'clock tonight. Can I just give a shout out to me to the shirt competition we're running, Gov?
Of course you can.
So 2 shirts kindly donated by Joe Jones. I think he donated a couple last season. We got an adult and a child shirt to be won. Go to Twitter if you're on there. Go on my pinned tweet. You have to follow me, follow Talking Town, retweet the tweet, and then you are entered into the draw. I think we've got over 500 in it at the minute. So if you want to win yourself a free shirt, you've got to be in it to win it, Gov.
You have. And I just want to say a quick good evening to Mr. Lee Keto Anderson. Smashing it. Go on, Ando. I'm going to say go on, Big Ando, but you can't call him Big Ando anymore. So go on, Little Ando. Smashing the keto diet. God, I love a keto diet. It is good fun.
Is that expensive?
Oh, yeah. Because it's just meat, basically. You just eat meat. And although there actually is a carnivore diet. Like literally, I was talking to a friend the other week that he wants to try it. You just eat nothing but meat, and that just seemed a little bit too excessive for me. Would you do that? Just eat nothing but meat for 2 weeks?
McDonald's?
No. Nothing but meat. Like, so literally steak for breakfast, steak for lunch, pork chop. They're literally nothing but a piece of meat.
Probably not, if I'm honest.
No, so it seems too much for me, that. Just
seems hard work, that does.
You've got to stick some beef in between 2 buns. Rob Holmes, loans always take slightly longer to get in, generally at the end of the window. And apologies to any vegetarians.
Well, quickly, you actually turned into a cricket fan, didn't you?
I'm a cricket fan.
You have been watching. It has captured your imagination a little bit.
I have been watching it. Yes, I've watched in the last several days. I've watched the Ashes. I've watched the Women's Ashes, and I've watched the T20.
Yes, good.
So I suppose you could say I'm a fan. Yeah,
you're getting there.
I thoroughly enjoyed the last day against the Aussies with Harry Brook. You know, when you've got Stokes out and you think all is lost, cometh the hour, cometh the brook, and he stood up.
Yeah. Join us at 9 o'clock, everyone.
Yeah, what's his best position? Join us at 9, because we are now going to finish tonight's show with Mr. Cliff Richard himself.
He's been
Summer
to a Ben's festival, I think.
Hello,
how are you,
Carl?
guys?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Floor is yours. I'm going to go on mute so I don't interrupt you. Floor is yours, my man.
How many beers?
Do you want, mate?
How many beers today?
No, I did it to me because I was driving. Vanessa don't like driving down the little lanes, you know. But that was great at this beer fest, and it was a beautiful day. You probably see it on my photograph.
Looks nice.
Absolutely beautiful day. So yeah, I played a bit of Beatles, bit of Jam, this that, and the other. You know, it's good. It's good. St Morgan. Oh, I've got to give a shout out to Steve Wright, not the Steve Wright off Radio 2. Steve Wright from St Austell. I sent you the pictures. I'm in Asda. Me and Vanessa just sat down for like a cup of tea kind of thing, and he goes, "Are you Colin?" And I went, "Yeah, good guess. Yep." He goes, "I watched Talking Town," and he was such a nice guy. Like I say to him, and he says hello to you boys. He watches all the time.
Hello, Steve.
Lives in Austell.
Top man.
So, yeah. Gov, shout out to Steve. He's a good boy.
Massive shout out to Steve. Steve knows his onions.
Yeah.
Look at us. Look. We're like Pitbull, us three. We're Mr. Worldwide. You know, 305. Look at us. Look. All over the world.
Yeah. So you're going live down to St Austell there all the time. Yeah, the boy's a good lad. And he don't get up to many games now, but he watches you all the time, and he watches the games on iFollow and stuff. But he was a really nice player to talk to, and I say hello, Steve. Yeah, good lad. Good lad. You're
like this, Colin. I was on holiday in Cos the other week, and first day I was there, I wore my town shirt, as you do. You got to represent while you're abroad. And one of the workers there stopped me and said, "Ipswich," and I thought, "Hang on, he can't know who Ipswich is really." And he started talking to me about Osman, Butcher, Mariner. He used to watch Ipswich when he was a kid growing up, and he wanted to always go and visit the stadium, and he idolized those players. And I just thought of you in that story, because I just thought, you saw those players, and those are magical moments, and it's gone around the world.
I'll tell you what, Gov, I kind of link into that now, because I was at the beer fest, like we say, in the pub garden. That was lovely. Lovely afternoon, lovely day, and there were some lovely people, and anybody from the Falcon watching, hello to you. Brilliant afternoon. But I was speaking to a Plymouth fan there, and he was speaking about Whittaker and stuff. And then I showed him a few pictures, Rich and Gov. I showed him a picture of me Mariner shirt. He's a bloke about Rich's, Richard, between you and Rich's age. And he said, my dad used to watch Mariner, obviously at Plymouth, and he said, how good was he? He said, Dad used to always go on about how good he was when he was at Plymouth. I said, well, I heard about those days when he was really young and how good he was at Plymouth, and that's obviously why we signed him. I said, but he was 10 times the player when he was at our place. He said, God, he said, that bloke must have been some centre forward. And I said, you're spot on, you know. But that's lovely being down here, because, and then he was a big Plymouth fan, and he said to me, yeah, he saw me tattoo on my leg, Rich. And he goes, you're Ipswich fan? I said, yeah. He said, just done here, didn't we? And I said, yeah. And I was really complimentary to him, and I said about, you know, we did a podcast, and I said, and you know, you deserved the title. I said, you know, a couple of good games between us, kind of thing. And I asked him, Gov and Rich, how he thought they would do next season, and he thought they'd stay up. He thought they'd struggle, but he thought we'd do quite well. He thought we, you know, would be in and around the top 6, top 8.
Colin, I have got to close the show in just one moment, because Rich has got to go and do a cricket show.
Yeah. Get involved, go.
Your boy Sonny Aluko is having himself some pre-season, right?
Hang on, just on that. Gov did message yesterday morning.
I've got Rich, let me just answer that. Look, Mike is Mike, he likes to think he puts him in the top bins, and who am I to say he didn't? But Sonny Aluko, different gravy.
Gov did actually put in the chat yesterday
We have a
morning.
laugh, Gov.
Gov did put in the chat yesterday morning. It will be Sonny Aluko's best game because we can't see it.
And I was right because he scored within 30 seconds.
That was a good goal. Great finish.
It was a great goal. It was a great goal. Colin, we love you. Enjoy the rest of your holiday.
Thank you very much, sir. Cheers, Rich. See you, mate.
Look after yourself. And there we go. Hour and 5 in the books on a week where we've done nothing but go to Austria, win a game, draw a game, and sign a player we had on loan last year. We've done all right there.
Preston away Wednesday night. We're coming up against Will Keane.
I mean, what is this about? I don't understand it personally. But there we go. Talking Town done and dusted. Next time you see me, hopefully I'll have a new back and a new mic. Odds are microphone will be the one I do have.
And my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no, it was your Wi-Fi, yeah.
Yeah,
Talking cricket live in 9 minutes. So get yourself a drink, get comfortable,
hang around,
join the lads, and they tell us how England.
Brandon, Kieran's coming in from Melbourne about 9:20. He's working on the trains. He was in the chat, Max Facts.
He was.
He's giving us the lowdown on the Aussies and a bit of women's cricket as well because they turned us over today in a thriller.
They did. And hopefully the boys will give us the keys on how England are going to draw a level in the Ashes series and then go on to win. Because now I'm invested. It can only go.
The weather's not looking great. I will tell you the weather is not looking great for Manchester this week. Bloody northern weather, Gov.
Well, why do they go? Why do you go anywhere but East Anglia, where it's the driest part of the country? Like all cricket should be played here, right?
That's great up north. Just look at Headingley. What an atmosphere. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a bit. I'm off to make a cover.
Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I